All right, hello. And, oh, I think my desktop audio is not right. Just a moment. Oh, okay. Hello and welcome to Plugging Along, a stream dedicated to LOTRO plugins. Last time on Plugging Along, we pulled in some MinstrelBuff plugin algorithmic changes from a while back for how we handle effects being added and removed. Previously, MinstrelBuff reacted to every effect being added or removed by completely recalculating everything it was showing, which seemed a little inefficient. Now it's well on its way to not doing that. But today I want to put MinstrelBuff plugin on hold while Farmers Faire is here. There is a plugin specifically for festivals called Festival Buddy, and it currently doesn't have any Farmer Faire content. The last published changes predate this festival existing. So I thought, let's see what we can do about that. As always, feel free to jump into chats with your thoughts and questions, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and pull up some of our other windows that we're going to be using. So, as we've been doing recently, I've been using Visual Studio Code with the LOTRO API extension, and this gives IntelliSense for all of the LOTRO specific stuff that you can do, windows and buttons and the engine and all that. And that extension depends also on the Lua extension. It'll pull that in automatically, and that'll give language knowledge to Visual Studio Code for all the other Lua stuff. Cool. Also, I've been using Fork, a UI wrapping around Git, for source control. I've got this here. Looks like I got a little workspace change. I'm just going to go ahead and commit that. VS Code file change. Get it out of the way. Okay. And the only other unchanged file we have right now is show debug options equals true. And I say that I actually did start some Midsummer stuff a while back. When did I do this? June. I added a Midsummer background. That was about it. Although perhaps I should have called it Farmers Faire. But other than that, we've got a ways to go. So show debug options is currently true. We obviously wouldn't ship out a plugin with that, but it's very handy for us to have debug features that we can turn on and off as a developer. So those are the two tools we're primarily using: Visual Studio Code for the text editing, and Fork to wrap around our source control repository. Okay, one of the first quests that comes to mind when I think of Farmers Faire quests that could use annotations, for lack of a better word, is the Fat Mayor quest with Will Whitfoot here. This is a quest where he wants you to bring him the right thing. He doesn't want you to bring him the wrong thing. And this is a formulaic quest in that when he says, "Dear me, it burns," there is one correct thing you can bring him, the bucket of milk, I believe, and anything else will be wrong. And there's 15 or 20 different things the mayor can say. So memorizing them all can be a little tricky. This is the Fat Mayor page over on the wiki. I'll put a link there into chat. And this is the list of things that are known to be said and the thing that will satisfy him. So we can see milk is being used for spicy things. Spicy, save me, dear me, it burns, ouch, too much pepper. Can only assume he's using full milk, 4% fat. Otherwise, the butter might be a better salve for all of that. But we can see nothing is valid. In fact, if I sit here long enough, it might be that I'll accidentally complete the quest just by giving him nothing too many times. I believe the quest doesn't penalize you if you do nothing and the correct answer was something else. That's a sort of a gimme there. We'll find out, though, as we stand around here. So, what are the things? Milk, water, nothing, salt, butter. That's about wine also. And those appear over on this table. Now, the game gives you a generous amount of time to get from the mayor over here and back. So you can easily combine this with any of the other quests in the area and just nip over here. Agartha says, "I'm curious how you'll do Fat Mayor differently." Well, the thing is, depends on what you mean, Agartha, by differently. My thought, and let's go ahead and fire up the Festival Buddy plugin here. So when you first load it, you can use /festival to make the UI show up. Oh, here are the things: water, butter, wine, salt, and milk. So /festival, and you get the UI. Now, oh, Agartha, have you done some patches for Festival Buddy, or are you looking at doing a different plugin? So, well, we wait on that. So Festival Buddy, you get to choose which adding to your own plugin. Awesome, fork floater. So Festival Buddy, you choose select which festival you're currently doing. So summer was there. I believe summer's been combined into with the Farmers Faire. So we can see from the summer we have going hungry, belongings gone fishing, fraught and errands, too much festival, missing things, losing more than wager, stock in the pond. So I believe missing things was a thing that Little Redhead had just shown, just the circuit around the pond. But in this case, you click missing things, and it says, here's where to find them. Here's the coordinates. Now, coordinates by themselves can be a little annoying to work with. So I definitely recommend, if you haven't, consider, let's see, let me pull up the LOTRO plugin compendium here, to go ahead and add the Waypoint plugin. We'll go ahead and add that in. It downloads and installs it automatically for us. Then we just have to come back in System, Plugin Manager, make sure you hit that green circle to refresh the list. LOTRO does not keep an eye on that plugins directory. We go ahead and load a Waypoint, and then we can just type in /way target, and that first one, 24.1 south, 93.2 west. Now, just in case that doesn't make, oops, I tried to copy it, and I pressed the wrong thing. That was a command. So I've just pasted that into the chat there, but what it looks like is, yeah, /way space target space the south and the west. Once you press enter on that, then you're going to get a little arrow on the screen. Looks just like this. And you can go ahead and click that arrow, or you can bind something to /LOC, and it will give you a bearing and a distance. And I'm wondering if I put it in wrong, though, because that's an awfully long way away. Oh, that's things around Dooland. Aha. Belongings gone fishing, that's the one. So /way target, 30.5 south, 70.1 west. But now we know that Dooland is around 4,000 meters away. So we can see that Lucky Bait is 288 meters north of us, or I should say in this direction. 288 meters, yeah, just about north. So you can simply re-click with the /LOC. Either you're typing it or you're clicking the arrow or you have something bound to it to give you pretty constant updates on your bearing and distance. But every time you do this, the plugin is dependent on the /LOC command. Plugins don't get to know where you are outside of observing this LOC command. And the /LOC always spits out this long string to the standard text channel. You are on Treebird server 34 at R1 LX767, and so on, which is kind of obnoxious. So it is very common for me to not have the standard chat channel going to my general channel while I am using the Waypoint plugin. I will instead go ahead and create a new tab for standard to live in, because otherwise Waypoint just drives me a little batty. It's great. It solves a problem in the constraints that we have. Let's see. And somewhere around here is where that item would be if I were on the quest to pick it up. So Waypoint is fantastic for finding very specific locations if you have coordinates and don't otherwise know where it is. You can just keep on hitting /LOC to update the bearing and distance and really hone in on a thing. All right, having said, got to get back to the Fat Mayor. So there are other things that you can do. For instance, let's go on back to the Festival Buddy options. So one of the things that we worked on a little while ago that I haven't released yet, Fireworks and Brie hasn't come around recently since then, but if we're an anniversary and we're in the Fireworks and Brie, then you get a little toolbar with fireworks on it. And so what happens is the fireworks director says a thing, send up anything but red, send up only red, and then you have to do the thing. So how about a bright red one? Launch it now. So the text shows up on the screen, and it stays there for the entire duration. And we can even see the timer ticking down. 2, 1, 0. Okay. So it stays up there for the 18 seconds that is valid, because it takes you 2 seconds to fire off the firework. It only lasts for 20 seconds. It's great. So the do anything but red, we can easily see which of the ones we need to click on, which ones are valid, and we have that timer. So my thought was to do something similar for the Fat Mayor, although the Fat Mayor's request lasts for a full minute. But he might say, let's see, where's the Fat Mayor? Nice and salty, but now my mouth is dry, he might say. In which case, I might pop up. Okay, I need that to go away. I might pop up that text, the thing that he wants, just in textual form. Water, butter, whatever. The other question that I haven't answered for myself yet is there a consistent time? Does each request for water last 50 seconds? Do they all last for 60 seconds? That kind of thing. Because I don't want to leave the text on the screen for too long, but I don't want it to just disappear right away in case you're off doing something else. Okay. So this could be a little dangerous to put the say channel in here. So it might be easier to have the plugin just echo to standard anything that Will Whitfoot says. So let's start off. Now that we kind of established what we want to do, is we've got the Festival Buddy here. Each of the backgrounds in the Festival Buddy have these cool little, each of the windows have these cool little backgrounds. Since summer and festival have been combined, it might be worth combining them in one place in the Festival Buddy. I'm a little concerned about doing that. There's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things in summer, and a whole list of festival currencies. And so I'm a little concerned about merging that with whatever else the Farmers Faire brings with it. So I'm tempted to anything new that I add here to go ahead and just add to Farmers Faire, and then someday do some sort of a cleanup after we're happy with that. Definitely we have Farmers Faire token and Mithril coins. So there is room for just Farmers Faire tokens. That's a good question. Well, if anyone knows if the Farmers Faire has other wallet currencies other than the Farmers Faire tokens, I guess that would be useful information. Festivity tokens are generally not tracked in here, which is interesting. Festivity, oops. It does seem like the kind of thing that you'd want to have tracked in here. All right, so summer would have 2 more tokens, or we can just have Farmers Faire be kind of the new stuff that they added, that we're adding right now. Okay, I'm happy with that. In which case, we just need a better background than this, because that was just taken from spring. All right, let's take a look at that. So if we come into Documents, Lord of the Rings Online, Plugins, and we're going into Galahad Plugins, the Festival Buddy has some resources, which is, I'm guessing, where these backgrounds are. Oh, that's a good question. All right. We can go ahead and make a new background. Oh, yes. For Midsummer? Was I thinking about doing Midsummer? I was thinking about Midsummer, and then I got busy. So that didn't happen. All right. But I did get far enough for making this frame. So all we need is whatever image that we're looking for. I did go ahead and in my downloads, Farmers Faire. Let's go ahead and pull that in and see what we can do with that. Now, the image has a total canvas size, height of 360, so we definitely want this layer to be scaled down to that same height, at least. And then we can just move it around. This is just a picture of that table that the mayor is eating at. Let's see. The mayor could be in here, but maybe just the food. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and then we just go ahead and export as. Well, that's a good question. Did I find out where this is going? Main win back, yes. Perfect. I appreciate when like things are named alike. Alright, main win back, Farmers Faire. There we go. Exporting as a TGA, a GNU image manipulation program, is going to ask what type of compression and origin. You can just keep the defaults. It works. It's fine. Okay, and now we have a Farmers Faire. Excellent. For that, let's go ahead and come back into the code and see if we can figure out where that image is being pulled from. Now, we're in Festival Buddy already, and there is an images.lua. That seems like a great place to start. So we have some backgrounds. Farmers Faire. We can go ahead and replace this spring reference with our new Farmers Faire. And then remember, to get that kind of a change, we're going to unload, we're going to reload, and now our Farmers Faire has our lovely Farmers Faire table on it. It was just about this image. Awesome. Cool. So that's the first thing. Next thing is the Festival Buddy is quest sensitive. So it has a list of quests, and if you're not on that quest, it won't do the thing. And that can be very handy. For instance, in the anniversary event for the Fireworks and Brie, you don't want this Festival Buddy quick slots always there. You only really want it while you're on the Fireworks and Brie. If you go do the Mightiest Blow instead, it's going to have some sort of emote or something in that box. I can't remember what. Lost Invitations doesn't have anything. And so in the Farmers Faire, same thing. We're going to go ahead and have a list of quests, and each quest will enable the associated behavior. Either just a list of what to do. For instance, when we're putting in the grocer stuff, for each quest, we'll probably just say, here's the list, here's the stuff to get. Maybe. That might be enough. Agartha says some of the fishing stuff goes into the wallet, so not tokens technically. I tend to think of anything that goes into the wallet as a token, but that's probably not fair. But for instance, these fish token in the summer window, like the drum. Let's see. Whoops. That is under festivals and events. All right. Right here. Yeah. The Kellepals, the drums. It is perhaps unfair to call them tokens, but barter wallet barter currencies maybe. I am curious if you get double of those with the Fate of Gundahad or the Fateful Toolkit, since they are landscape currencies. Finally finished my Fortunate Festival fishing. Okay. Anyhow, I will easily get distracted by other things. But yes, I think any of the fishing stuff that goes into the wallet, I would think of as a festival barter currency, and therefore is relevant to our concerns. So in this window, it's just trying to show you in one spot, kind of like a mini Titan bar, what's up with this festival. So you could just have this hanging out on the side here and always have a heads-up display on this festival currencies. Weirwolf says, so pretty. I think you're talking about the image background here. If so, yes. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, the Shire in general is pretty. And then Captain says, all that gold in your coin purse must be heavy. Yes. Well, yes. I enjoy having the money to do the things I want to do in Lord of the Rings Online. We're here over here on Treebeard, so 100 gold feels sufficient to do most things, unlike on other servers where 100 gold feels like the starting price on a stack of copper or something. The inflationary economy that is endemic to most video games takes a while to get going, and Treebeard's only a year old here. Okay, so let's start looking at how to add a quest. Images is giving us a clue that these indexes here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, are similar to other places. Oh, I'm going to have gotten myself into trouble because Farmers Faire doesn't actually have an apostrophe, does it? It does not. So we're going to just go universally fix that before it gets to be a problem. I'm doing it manually instead of just doing a glorious replace all, just in case there's a reason to not do this. Actually, this is a good way to test this. The Harvest Revelry Kite is a pet. Let's see, oops. Let's come in here to our pet collection and give a search for that. Okay, good. Available through Reddit during the Farmers Faire Festival, canonically, no apostrophe. Awesome. When in doubt, I like to run things, check things through the game's spelling. Awesome. Pet.lua, overwrite. Oh, how funny. Well, some of those changes were for a plugin we're not doing. That's okay. Why is it marked read-only? Well, now you've got me curious. Okay, so pets.lua, why are you marked? I know it came from another computer, that's okay. And German, pets.lua. Okay. Okay, overwrite. Now, that's I may decide to undo that later, but right now there is nothing with farmers apostrophe S. Awesome. So, that extended off to pets. Maybe I'm not worried about that, but Festival Buddy. Okay, so added Festival, added Farmers Faire background. So that's both the source image and the actual TGA that we're using in-game. And then we just need to find out that was in images. Awesome. There we go. And then finally, removed apostrophe from Farmers Faire. And that was barter items, images, quest strings. And here as well. All right. Those changes do not look correct and make me worry that there's something going on here. Oh, yes. There's definitely some sort of an ASCII UTC or UTF-8 thing going on there. But we're going to come back to that. Removed apostrophe from Farmers Faire. Awesome. And then we're just going to delete any of these other changes. Don't want them. Done. I don't care about the pet stuff right now. So discarded. Okay. So we have a section for Farmers Faire in strings. Excellent. We also have it in quest strings. So by seeking out that apostrophe S, we were able to isolate all those places that had something we cared about. Barter items as well. And this is where you can list all of the items that you can get in the interface. You are often able to click on a barter button and come here. For instance, if we go to Hobnanigans, click on barter, you can see all the things that you can do for barter. And there's a bunch of them, let me tell you. But having a window like this is really useful, both for reference and also these are interactable. So if I want to put them into chat, I can right-click them. I'm sorry, Control right-click them. I can hover over them. That's pretty much it. I can put them in chat. I can hover over them. But they're not just images. They are usable in the game to tell someone else. Kay in chat says, I just saw you release the new MinstrelBuff. I saw you working on it. Amazing. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Yeah, I'm super excited that other people get to use it as well and enjoy using it. It certainly wasn't my product to begin with, but I really enjoyed adding onto it and making it a more full-featured Minstrel product. Okay, so barter items are kind of a lower priority for me. They're neat. It's kind of a boring process to do that on screen, but they're neat to have in the plugin. So that's a not right now kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to close out barter items, and we're done with images. I'm going to close that as well. And that brings us to strings, and okay, so there's looks like a list of quests under each thing. Okay, and then okay, looks like the quest strings are the bit that's getting placed down below. Okay, cool. So if we do a quest here, Farmers Faire, so we want, what is that? All right, Fat Mare, excellent. Equals, oh, that is actually the text I want. All right, and this is using a lookup table for English, French, and German. So right now we're just going to go ahead and fill in the English. Fat Mare. Let's see. And then it is possible to go ahead and fill in the others at some time. I'm going to hold off on that and just focus on getting anything on the screen. Okay. So just by adding that string, if I load the festival buddy back up, there should now be Fat Mare in here. But we can see immediately when I select it, we get an error. Attempt to index field. Because of course, we don't have anything in the quest strings, I assume. Let's see, that is in main win. And we're going to go to line 309. All right, and we're definitely looking for quest strings. All right. So, I believe this is just meant to be kind of either a really quick summary of what to do. Okay, we can do that. Oops. Farmers Faire. So what we want to appear down here is a really concise version of this. So first things first, let's maybe convert this into a more usable format. So if I pull this out into Sublime Text, really what I want to do is have two columns, but splitting in Excel, well, that could also work actually. What I'm actually going to do is select all the spaces, and then just select the things before that. And so we're going to come on in, open up Excel. I use Excel a lot. And now we've got a column of just the things he says. And we can come on back and do the same thing, but select everything after that. Why am I doing that? Well, I'm a little curious if you sort these things by the thing you give him, if there's some pretty reasonable trends that come out of that. So data, just sort by column B. What? There we go. Okay, so just adding a little white space here for clarity. Oh, I see. When he says something that requires nothing, you don't get credit for it. It's just a nothing happens phase. And then you wait for him to say something else. And it's only if you deliver one of the other fives. Yes. As Agartha says in chat, there's 3 for each consumable, and 7, no ops, as he says, 7 where nothing happens and you just wait for the next announcement. Awesome. So, what do we have? We have butter, and so I'm thinking that we'll go ahead and do a quick summary of these things, and maybe still do the on-screen reference. We'll see how important it is. It also looks like we can use \n to produce new lines. Excellent. So we've got first the name of the quest, and then string, and oh, there's also reference for quick slots. Oh, there's all sorts of stuff I don't know about in here. Excellent. So we're going to come on in defining a table for Fat Mare, and that's going to include string, and in here we've got a line for English. Okay. What do we want? I'm going to go ahead and make that window a little bit narrower. Text-like. Not quite. Oh, I'm going to need to use different quotes. Not quite right. Butter. And we'll go ahead and do a new line there. I wonder if Lua has, what is it, raw strings, where you can do multi-line strings? I don't know. I'll just have to do without it. Spicy stuff. Milk. Bland. Let's see. Let's actually do, not quite, oh, sorry, rich / dry. Okay, butter. Spicy stuff is milk. Bland is salt. And I don't really know how much horizontal space I have to work with here, so I'm trying to do this in as few characters as possible. Bland is salt. Replenish / mouth dry. Water. New line, and then wine. Cleanse palette / tart. Wine. Let's see what that looks like before we go any further. Oh, The redhead says you don't get credit for helping or dinged for harming when he is satisfied. So you can just pour the salt down his throat, and he's fine with it. Apparently I didn't quite get it. Okay, so it looks like we have a lot more space than I was thinking of because it's kind of tiny font. So apologies to anyone for whom this is too small to read, but it does mean in the meantime that we can afford ourselves a little bit more text. So let's see. For the butter, not quite rich enough, slash dab slash bread dry. So, is that too many characters? That is too many characters. Okay, so that kind of calls it for us. Now, this is probably a variable with font, so that's not giving us an exact number of characters, but a trick that I'll sometimes do for something like this is to go ahead and do string concatenation. I wonder if it automatically did that for me. It does not. And using, oh, I just realized part of it is not visible. So using string concatenation like this, I can adjust the length of each line in number of characters to be roughly similar. And then that doesn't really deal with a variable with fonts, but it gets us close enough. So I know that this top line is really about as much as I've got. So spicy slash burns slash it burns slash pepper is milk. Bland slash forgot seasoning slash missing. We have salt. All right, we have replenish slash mouth is dry slash thirsty, gives us the water. And then we have cleanse palate slash something tart slash too fine. That one looks like it's going to be too long, but let's take a look at how it goes. All right, so not enough slash dab slash bread dry. Looks like yep, quote snuck in there. Okay, spicy it burns pepper. Bland slash forgot seasoning slash missing salt. Replenish slash mouth is dry slash thirsty as water. Cleanse palate slash something tart slash too fine wine. Neat. So that's kind of the starting point. I wonder if there's something that goes in the above. What would go in the top half of this? Unfortunately, I don't know. I don't use this plugin very often. I've just started getting into it a little bit. Okay, so that's where it looks like if you're working on something, in this case, deeds, perhaps, it will be interested in that. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll come back to that. So, we could go ahead. Oh, we see Will Whitfoot said, "Dear me, it burns, it burns." Well, we would have known that was milk. Oh, interesting. So the stuff disappears reasonably fast. Where were we? Okay, so at this point, it would be useful for us to be able to call out what Will Whitford is saying, so that we don't open ourselves up to everything in say, because there's a lot of chatter here in Bywater. So many hobbits saying so many ridiculous things. So we want our plugin to look for what Will Whitford is saying and just spit that out into the standard chat channel. Just echo it. So let's see what that would look like. Now, somewhere, probably just in the main window here, we might be monitoring chat. Nope. How about in main? How about in chat logger? Excellent. So initiate chat logger is getting called from somewhere. While I look at that, I'm going to get some more water. I've been working with an old TV tray, butler tray kind of thing, but it's very side-to-side wobbly, so I'm reluctant to put water on there. But lightweight paper-like stuff is good. Okay, so initiate chat logger. We get the turbine.chat. We give it a received function, and then we do stuff. Specifically, we're looking for filter say. So, what can we do with filter say? Well, what I'm wondering, we do have get raw text. So a technique that was suggested, I don't remember who, maybe it was Thurlor, one of the other plugin developers, this is not mine, is that if you have a label and you have code that has colors in it, and we can, if you could see my standard chat just scrolling on by, you can see when the Bounderboffin or Will Whitford speaks, their name is in green and everything else they say isn't. And if you're looking to look at just the characters and not all the color markup, you can use a label with markup enabled set to true. If you set text with markup, it goes in, but when you call get text, it comes out without that markup. And so that can be a way to strip off any color coding HTML looking markup tags. And so we have this. Excellent. So debug, delete later, and debug. So if we go ahead and say, local raw text equals get raw text. In fact, I'm just going to name it debug text to call it even more attention to the fact that I want this to not be here very long. So if debug text, I don't know, can we say starts with? Yeah, a little string dot my goodness. Unfortunately, one of the things I don't have solidly in my head is how to do Lewis string manipulations. So what I'll often do is come in and do Lua string starts with, and then figure out what they're saying works and if it works. Cool. String.sub or substring for short. Delightful. That is certainly something that would work. And regular expression style pattern matching also would be great. Okay, let's do that. So just copying out of the game here, local text to find equals caret being, it must be the first character in the message is that capital W. Will Whitford says that. So if string dot find, and we're looking at debug text. We're looking for text to find, and I'm good without any of that. Then turbine dot right shell dot writeline debug text. Okay, let's give that a try. First thing we do is unload and reload. We didn't get any syntax errors trying to load the file. That's good. So the real question is just, will it work? And so Will Whitford over here speaks about once a minute, and so it's just a matter of waiting. Agartha says, I have a pattern for that if you're interested. Well, I certainly wouldn't say no to it, but I imagine it's just stripping off between the quote marks for the specific string. So yeah, feel free to paste into chat here if you want. But we do see in our plugin tab here, and I call it plugins, but it really is just the standard chat channel, which is what your plugin can write to, and it's your error channel, which is where your errors will go. Oh, that's funny. So that's a selector. That's not a. Oh, interesting. I hadn't realized that you can click on the name Will Whitford in chat when it's in green like that to select Will Whitford, and just like the bounder boffin, you can select that bounder by clicking on their name in chat. Excellent. I didn't. If I knew that, I had forgotten it. So I'm curious. What is your method for kind of visually inspecting a text like that? Do you just go through and like HTML sanitize the brackets so that you can see everything else? Or, of course, it's 2 single quotes. Why wouldn't it be? Yeah, I'm curious how you would visually convert what is being seen in chat to something. Is it as simple as just, oh, if it's a left bracket, do something else, like ampersand, LT, semicolon? That being said, oh, Agatha, I know you're not. I'm just curious, like, if I was looking to inspect what has come across chat, do you have a convenient way for converting that into something that's not going to be immediately reinterpreted when it hits the standard chat channel? Because if you take that string as is and spit it into the standard chat channel, the selector's text is still going to be a selector text. It's you won't see the underlying contents. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, if we were to use something like a tilde, which doesn't get used very often. Oh, I think we're done with that. I think we're done with this. Oh, actually, we're not done with that. Let's see. New line. Everything else, do nothing. Wait for next request. Okay. We'll just say do nothing. In fact, we'll do 2 new lines there. Yeah. Okay. So if I were to come on in here and say Lua string replace, what would that look like? G sub, excellent. Global substitution. Let's take a look at that. Local substitute text equals cmessage, well, string.gsub, and that is cmessage, and then the pattern is, really it's just a left bracket, and we want to replace it with a tilde. You know, and let's go ahead and keep writing them both out, just so we can see what the difference is. Agartha says, hex sequence differs every time. Absolutely. I don't actually care what the hex sequence is. I'm just interested in seeing what the link looks like. So we've gone ahead and loaded Festival Buddy. Just in case I missed it, let's go ahead and load it again. Awesome. Now I just need to wait for the mayor to say something. Dear me, it burns, it burns. And we can see the text pretty much exactly what Agartha says. But remember that there's a tilde any place that there was an open bracket. And that keeps the chat system from reinterpreting that. In fact, let's go ahead and write out that original C message. But yes, select ID, there's a hex thing, and if you click on that normally green text in chat, you select the thing that said the thing. Which, cool, thank you, Arthur, for reminding me that that's even a thing. All right, Will Whitford. Here we see that green text. If I click on it, I select Will Whitford. Awesome. Here it is, stripped of that selector, or if it had just been color, stripped of that. I thought it was an RGB tag. And here's what it was underlying, remembering that left brackets have been replaced with tilde to trick the parser. So yeah, select ID, hex value, Will Whitford, end select value says blah, blah, blah. Awesome. Now, I would say that this reference right here is probably enough for most people. In fact, yeah, maybe we don't need to go any further than that. But if we wanted to, we could know each of those, let's see, 15 plus 7, 22 different sayings, excuse me, those 22 different sayings, pop up the thing on screen that you're supposed to provide. And we can see, okay, bland, bland, bland. The other thing I was curious about is how long is this table active? Because I want to say it's a good 20 seconds or something. So that came in at 42. That's been 20 seconds, yes. So the table's active for 20 seconds. So popping something up on screen for 20 seconds seems like a reasonable thing to do. Grab the butter, grab the milk, grab the salt, grab the water, grab the wine. So we already were doing something like that for the brief fireworks announcer. It might be useful to do something similar here. If so, we can Farmers Faire Fat Hobbit / Will Whitfoot. If selected, the existing style is not doing much in the way of parentheses, outer parentheses in there, if, which is legal in Lua. It's not the style I'm used to. Selected quest equals, and we're doing lang.quests. Unfortunately, we're doing numerical indices here, which I'm not a fan of. And the reason I say that is if we pop into quests, we have, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and whatever. But importantly, we're seeing these indices repeatedly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, we're talking about the event. Down there, we're also should be talking about the event. And we can see I started doing that with Hobnanigans. And I think I would like to continue that. So if we come on into spring equals 1, summer equals 2, harvest math equals 3, Yule equals 4, anniversary equals 5, and finally Farmers Faire equals 6. Now, a downside of this is that these are not all the same length. And if they were all the same length, then the spacing here would be trivially the same. Because you're replacing one character with 5 characters, sure, but they're all 5 characters. Whereas here, if this was spring, and this is harvest math, we can see that things aren't going to line up quite so nicely. Now, they don't have to. Or you can insert arbitrary white space. That's also fine. But a thought that I have is that if you were willing to butcher things without vowels, for instance, so like harvest math equals 3. Like, let's see. Okay, we don't need an A there. Or maybe we do just like that. So spring, summer, harvest. Like, you can do that, sure. So just for a treat, I'm going to go ahead and replace some of these right now, and we'll see how that feels. And again, we can do some trivial, or slightly less trivial white space alignment by just putting spaces in there. And then all of these are still matched up. Now we can see there were tabs in here instead of spaces. Those are getting messed up. I'm not a big fan of embedded tabs. I prefer all spaces for my white space. They look the same and they behave differently. But not my plugin, so I'm not going to be doing much with that right now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and split this vertically so that I have the list of them right here. And I can just scroll down and see, is there anywhere else I want to go ahead and substitute that in before I get undistracted? All right, we can see again here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, it's a lot easier to see what we're talking about if we don't have magic numbers and we have named variables. Oh, debuffs for harvest math? Cool. Geode hunting. Yes, that makes sense. Or villain. Oh, those are debuffs. So if I was to come in for harvest math, yes, okay. Oh, fun. Okay, I see what's happening. And finally, Hobnanigans. Same thing down here, season specific. Notice that someone went ahead and put comments right here. Notice how irrelevant those comments become if you start using named variables instead of magic numbers. Spring, dash, dash, spring. Suddenly that comment is unnecessary. I feel like I should delete that comment actually. Summer, not necessary anymore. Harvest math, I wonder what that could be. So as we replace these magic numbers with named variables, suddenly this becomes trivially documented. It's self-documented. We didn't have to do anything. In fact, we can undo that. We do have to be careful not to accidentally select a whole page worth of text when we're deleting things, though. And then finally, Hobnanigans. Look how much more readable that is instead of 7, which of course 7 means Hobnanigans. Why wouldn't it? So there may be a reason why not to do this, but I'm guessing the real reason is this started out with 4 or so events. They were roughly spring, summer, fall, and winter. And for many people who speak English, that's a very natural way of thinking about the seasons. At least who speak English and grew up the way I did. Cool, and then we have all these comments. Yule, not needed. Anniversary, not needed. Farmers Faire, not needed. Hobnanigans, not needed. Very nice. There's also the quest strings. So again, we have the spring section, starting out with spring. I think leaving this comment is actually fine because it's denoting a much larger section of stuff. So summer, summer, harvest math. Now, if you feel like it and you're using an editor that supports it, you can just collapse these sections. So if we were back up here at spring, yeah, use your tool's ability to ignore vast swaths of code. So that is Yule and collapsed. You don't need to be scrolling looking for an end and then missing it accidentally. Anniversary, collapsed. Farmers Faire. And then I don't even see a quest string for Hobnanigans. Funny. But I wouldn't have noticed that as easily if these weren't in name formats, I don't think. Okay, why does that matter? Because when we're in here, if selected quest equals Lang's quest 5, let's just replace that with anniversary and see how that goes. Now we are going to need chat logger to know about these symbols, and that's a potential problem right there, because strings might not be imported by that time. We can see here strings should be much earlier than, oh, where was it? Chat logger, yes. Well, why does it import then? All right, chat logger, unexpected symbol. Oh, I probably typed something wrong. Great, yes. Okay, so we can see strings gets imported very early. Strings having these defined here means that we're getting it almost immediately. Great. Chat logger is way lower in the import listing. So we're replacing that 5 with anniversary, and suddenly you can see that you're writing the right thing. Oh, you're doing a brief fireworks announcer for anniversary, and you're looking in quests anniversary? You probably did it correctly. Awesome. All right. Let's go ahead and finish writing this now that I'm done being distracted. Oh, should I? It's probably worth doing a commit just to save those changes right there. Okay, so added named variables for each festival. All right, and that's going to be this line right here. Yes. In the options window, nothing. Quest strings, spring, yep. Summer, yep. Harvest math, yes. Mangling of a French thing, nope. Let's see, Yule, yep. Another French thing, nope. Anniversary, yep. And then Farmers Faire. Now in this case, we just want to capture that name change, but we're not quite ready for everything else. So Farmers Faire went from 6, Farmers Faire, excellent. So that was quest strings. We've got a couple other ones in here. And then we have the actual strings. This is where we added them in, 1 through 6. And this is where we're making use of them. Okay, up here, yes. 1 and 2 and 3, yep. 4 is Yule. 5, 6, 7, yep. And then spring, summer, harvest math, Yule, anniversary, Farmers Faire. Whoopsie. That last one was too much for this commit. I would like to do these separately. So Farmers Faire, yes. Hobnanigans, yes. And then yes, spring, summer, harvest math, Yule, anniversary, Farmers Faire, Hobnanigans. Awesome. So added name variables for each festival, commit. Now we can just deal with, for instance, the Fat Mare. So added Farmers Faire, Fat Mare quest. Okay, so we don't need anything that we've done in chat logger yet, or options window. Quest string, we do need this Fat Mare quest string, but we had it on different lines for us to be able to approximate how many pixels it was going to take up. But we can see every other line in here. If we expand these, each language takes its own line and just gets ridiculously large. And I can see it both ways, but I'm not here to reinvent how this plugin does things. So we're going to go ahead, remembering not to delete that new line. We're going to go ahead and copy this out to just a Sublime text buffer for ease of manipulation. Awesome. Go ahead and select that new line right there. And we're going to go ahead and select the quote space ... get rid of it. But then importantly, pull in the next line, get rid of all that white space and the opening quote. Awesome. Now we can pull this back over. Oh, don't need to save anything. And now we have a single, very long line that we can have just on the English. All right. So if we load this up, going into Farmers Faire, Fat Mare, it's all there. Okay. Farmer said, lovely, lovely. That sure seems like an everything else, so we're not going to do anything about that. Okay. So now, I think it's reasonable to come back in and looking at the Fat Mare here. There's a lot of changes that it's complaining about. And I just hit the wrong button. Don't close on me. Alright, so quest strings. What's going on here? Oh, I see. Yes. So, the indentation of tabs is inconsistent. Yes. Yes, there we go. That will make it happier. Okay, so we have the inclusion of the Fat Mare quest here. We also have it in strings, and that is all. Added Farmers Faire Fat Mare quest. So just adding a quest once everything else is done doesn't take a lot. We'll go ahead and kill that quest strings file. It's going to keep happening. I'm wondering if this file is not saved as a UTF-8 file. But my main point is to not break anything that wasn't already broken when I got here. Okay, so in our chat logger, if selected quest equals lang.quest Farmers Faire dot Fat Mare, and does that seem correct? If we come into strings, lang, Farmers Faire, well, that is strings. Sorry, quest strings. I imagine we're looking for. Well, that is quest strings. What's lang looking for? All right, lang quests, Farmers Faire, Fat Mare. There we go. And then we go ahead and use settings.language to get the specific version. Then and yeah. Here's where we can do the same thing, get that local raw text if we want to just not even worry about the selector. Or, as Agartha put into chat there, you can match against that selector. Now, one of the reasons I like the raw text variation is just in case something changes about the selector ID, we're not pinned to it, but I could see it either way. The downside is, if you've activated the Fat Mare, we're going to be doing this to every chat message that comes in. We're going to be putting it in, pulling it out to strip that off. And that feels like extra work in an area that has a lot of chatter. So just doing a match against that pattern looks good too. So pulling it in from the game here, we can see the local pattern equals. So we know that that's any of those tildes are supposed to be left angles. We know. Are we really getting a? Yeah. Okay. We're getting a select something. We know that's going to be the beginning, which will bail out very early. And we know this hex can be reduced. So any numerical digit plus capital A through capital F is fine. Awesome. And we need one or more of those. It might be possible that there's a fixed length for those, but it doesn't really matter. All right, we'll wait for it. Select says, and then the thing that we care about. because that's the text we want to do something with. So we can do a string.match. So we're coming in with cmessage. We've got the pattern. And if this matched, then our result is going to be whatever was in there, otherwise it's null. So if request, then do something. For instance, handle fat mare. We'll just handle Whitfoot request, and we'll send that on request. Now, one problem with this, we don't have that function. Other problem, I'm doing this in the middle of the Brie Fireworks anniversary block. But that's why we use source control. So go ahead and save this. Come on into the source control. And in the chat logger, let's just kill what we had done. Great. Whoopsie. So, handle will Whitfoot request. You could even be one step further. Farmers Faire will Whitfoot request. Now, we don't have one of those, but we can come on in and right next to that other function and declare a new one. Function, handle Farmers Faire will Whitfoot request. All right, so we're going to get a request in. And the big thing is this code at all correct? So, turbine.shell.writeLine, we're going to go ahead and just write out that request. And just to be sure that we're getting it, let's go ahead and concatenate some stuff around it. Request, put an extra quote there so we can see any special characters. And that'll be good. Go ahead, unload that, reload that. Fat mare is the active quest. And we just need to wait for him to eat something and say something. Oh, thank you. Water delivery is here.
With the unwobbly tray.
Oh, an unwobbly tray. So good. Okay. The mayor is trying one of the dishes. All right, and we get a request, this bread is too dry. So, thanks to the inspiration of Egg Arthur, we have definitely isolated the thing that was said. Awesome. This bread is too dry. Now, those double quotes are ones I put in there. Right here at the beginning and end. And I do that because if we accidentally have a trailing space, a trailing tab, a trailing non-printable character, it's very difficult to isolate that unless you put identifying marks before and after the thing that you're spitting out for debug. This saves me a lot of effort, or I should say a lot of time, finding little edge cases if I just remember to do this first. So I highly recommend, yeah, if you're spitting something out to be like, what was that? Just put stuff on either side. It doesn't have to be quotes. It could just easily be an open brace bracket and a closed bracket, open brace, closed brace, whatever works for you. Tildes are great. Octothorpe's a classic character. But whatever it is, your life will be made easier if you have something on either side to identify when white space is trickling in or something else is going on that's weird. New lines can easily come in and it'll be very easy to not see them until you have spit out a character and just that new line pulls that one character. But either way, we have the request, and so we know what we're looking for. What I don't know is how I want to spit it up on the screen. And I do know I did something interesting with fireworks. So where would those have gone? Let's see, fireworks. Okay, this is basically what I did. for fireworks is, again, there were a bunch of different things that meant the same thing. And so I think I would want to do something very similar. I'm going to put it above right now because it'll be easier for me to see it, but my plan is to move it below. So if we say Farmers Faire will Whitfoot announcements equals a table, and the English version of those equals a table. And then we can, again, just go grab those from the wiki. Now, foolish me, I didn't actually save the work I did, splitting these out. But lucky me, it's actually very reproducible. So again, some sort of multi-line editor, like Sublime Text, you can come in, select all of the space-time spaces, and then just grab everything to the left of it. Now you just have the things that are said. Now, what are we looking for? We can actually go ahead and edit this. We have all of them. So need to start bracket, double quote. All right. All of them will go ahead and be, oh, interesting. Apparently, I was grabbing the new line character, which I'm not here. So, close it off with a single quote and a close bracket equals ingredient. And that's just to remind myself that this line isn't done. But the specific thing that they equal, we're not quite there yet. Okay, so I think this is fine. Why did I do this? Yeah, I think it was just because we had multiple things that meant a single output. Oh, it seems to work well enough for fireworks. Okay, so we have fat. Farmers Faire. Mayor food options. And what do we have? These are it. We'll go ahead and just do a quick sort and equip permute unique, and those are our options. Now, it's nice to have them all caps. Why not? So, convert case, uppercase, done. Equals something? Sure. Butter equals 1. Milk 2, nothing 3. Let's have nothing be 0, actually. 3, water 4, wine 5. Do I want it to be 0? Yeah. I think that works. Matches the no fireworks anyway. And there we go. We've got those. All right, the festivals. What's going on here? Anniversary. Fireworks in Brie. Fireworks in Brie. Just checking the name of that. Okay. Okay, so we have our answers. We're going to go ahead and again just convert case to uppercase. And we can use these answers and just paste them in for that ingredient. So just do a quick little multi-select here. And move that multi-select on up. And we're going to go ahead and slot in those answers here. So, spicy save me milk, this dish would spoil its taste, nothing, and so on. Alright, so there we go. Well, other than all my extra new lines, that went great. So we have a lookup table that says, given the input, what is the output? Great. Milk, nothing, salt, and so on. Now, like I said, I like doing this, but let's go ahead and move it down below, conceptually after some of the other things. This is other, great. So, same thing. We can do something very similar. Local message equals, oh, we already have the request, awesome. Processing I was doing there was something. All right. Sorry, just reminding myself how this worked. The strings, we don't have a lookup table of what to use, and I'm thinking that would be useful to be able to add that to the textual message. So if we come on down here to the other section, excellent. And go ahead and have a Farmers Faire, Whitfoot items equals, and we're going to go ahead and also again have English equals, and then that will let us instead of having numbers now, we're going to use that as a lookup. So, whoops, I keep hitting the wrong key. I'm concerned that I've got the syntax wrong, but that's okay. It's worth trying. Use nothing. Use butter. Use milk. Use salt. Use water. And use wine. My hope is that that syntax is fine, but easy enough to figure out. Well, it didn't crash, so. My hope is to go ahead and concatenate this in. So in the chat logger, we're going to go ahead and make a message. Local message equals, and that's going to be request, and we're going to concatenate that with just a simple colon and then the thing that we just have. So where is this? This is in lang other, lang dot other dot, and this is Farmers Faire items. And then we just need to know what the item is. Not sure. So local item to use equals, and that's the other lookup, is lang dot other dot Farmers Faire announcements, and we're just going to pass that request in. If item to use equals nil, then that's a problem. Turbine shell.writeLine could not find item for, and we're just going to concatenate that request and call it done. Otherwise, we've got the item, and so we want the message. If we have the item, we should also have the message. It wouldn't hurt to check for null here. But item to use. So item message equals. So let's hold off on that concatenation. Just grab that. And then local message equals dot item message. Okay. Yeah, if we weren't able to find one. Item message equals nil. Then same thing. And in fact, almost identically the same. Just announce it and don't keep on trying to do stuff. It'll just result in a nil error anyway. All right, local message equals that. And then we can continue to copy what the fireworks was doing as well. We want an alert message to stay up for, in this case, probably 20 seconds. I don't know what the induction time is on on this table. Should figure that out. If it's similar to the anniversary fireworks events, and it looks similar in my eyes, then this is a 2-second induction to pick something up. 1001, 1002, nope, get rid of it. 1001. It's more like a 1-second induction, actually. All right, so there's one difference that we know of between this and the anniversary fireworks. Okay. So let's go ahead and do for 19 seconds. At that point, you may not have enough time to pick something up before it despawns. Cool. We have our message. We're going to show it for 19 seconds. And when we're done, we were going to do a function that no longer matters because we're not doing stuff. So we're going to call that nil. I don't know what that true is, so let's find out. What's alert? Okay, we have a class built up in a fun way. Show remaining time is okay. So that's what we want is true, show remaining time. I realize their usefulness, but I really hate rawly referenced Boolean variables like this true. It's so much easier just to have a show remaining time equals true. Just name the variable, show remaining time equals true, and pass that in your function. In fact, local seconds to show equals 19. Suddenly you don't have a magic number here. Like alert, message, seconds to show, show remaining time feels so much more readable to me. Could be a me thing. Anyway, if you're in, it is possible to annotate these functions so that you could just hover over it and it would tell you what those parameters mean. But I like not having to do that. I like just looking at alert and saying, oh yeah, seconds to show remaining time, great. Okay. Well, we have possibly some code. Let's see what happens if we come in and wait for the mayor to eat something and then see what happens. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and close the plugin window just so we can see a little bit more of what's going on here. Oh, mayor, what's going on? It's been about a minute. No, it has not. It's been half a minute. Oh my goodness. Now that would be a nice thing, maybe, as well, is how long has it been since the last time Will Whitford asked for anything? But I think that it changes each time, so. Okay. Could not find for nice and salty, but now my mouth is dry. Great. Let's go look at that. All right, nice and salty, comma, but now my mouth is dry, period. Hey, Casper. Yeah? Sometimes it's like the cat just woke up and discovered it was all alone upstairs. All right, so request, nice and salty, but now my mouth is dry. Well, real talk, why is that not found? Sure looks like it is. Ah, I forgot to delve into the language part of it. Go into detail. Delve. So, we do need to go ahead and always make sure we're looking at that. Otherwise, this won't be supported for other languages. Let's come back in to Plugin Manager, unload, reload, and give it a try. Now, what I haven't done, and what I would usually do for something like this, is set up debug options. So, assuming the mayor has said the thing, we can then go ahead and proceed from there. But mayor's eating something. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Okay. Something tart will do nicely. Awesome. But what we don't see is the on-screen timer. And we should be being told that wine is good. Oh, of course, I didn't select the quest. It's not paying attention unless we select the quest. Otherwise, it would be doing all sorts of chat parsing. That is my bad. Okay, so for debug options, Fireworks in Brie, we were able to simulate stuff, just one of the options. And so for Will Whitford Mayor, we could do something very similar. We could either just have the entire list of options in a dropdown, or we could just say, simulate asking for water, butter, wine, and so on. All right, he's eating again. Awesome. I attempt to concatenate local item message and nil value. Great. So we're in chat logger 162. So funny. I accidentally tried to concatenate the thing I knew was nil and was going to fail. So we couldn't find the item for this, but that means we did find the item to use. Awesome. So, ouch, too much pepper. So, the item to use should have come out of here. So, ouch, too much pepper. So that should have been milk. Milk should have been here. But what I was mentioning before, I was concerned about not having brackets here. I think that was a mistake. Okay, so we've got our brackets here. We're going to go ahead and unload and reload. Get ourselves back onto the quest. Thanks, Moobot. Farmers Faire is live now. That means if you're on a NOR the day after Farmers Faire ends, they'll go ahead and be done with the server. So take that how you will. Okay, Mayor. / poke. Okay, the mayor is sampling something. Great. This bread is too dry. Use butter. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Counting down with tenths of a second. Cool. Got it just in time. You have relieved the mayor by throwing butter at his face. Awesome. So that's really what we've got right now, is a chat parser that is responding to each of the 22 possible combinations by giving you a specific direction. Use butter, do nothing, use nothing. We also have a textual summary here, which allows you to forgo the on-screen pop-up, I guess, although it's a mandatory pop-up, so. All right, bread is too dry. Use butter again. All right, I'll do what the plugin tells me to do. Excellent. Now, it doesn't respond to you have relieved the mayor. And funny thing is, I don't see that being reflected in chat anywhere. Certainly not in standard. My general chat has pretty much everything going into it, although it's hidden behind my face. But it did not. Oh, yes. Okay. You have relieved the mayor. Where is that coming from? Not rename tab. Create new tab. Advancement, perhaps? Maybe quest, actually. Okay. Mayor sampling. All right. Nice set of flavors. Use nothing. That's not helpful, but okay. Really what I'm concerned with is I want to see that message. You did not bring the mayor. What do we ask for? Okay. 1 of 3. So, that is something to think about, is farmer Whitfoot success fill. So we have success. Well, do we want it that way? I'm not sure. So where is, oh, there we go. So you have relieved the mayor. That's what we're looking for here. You have relieved the mayor. And we know this is going to be a number. And we know this is going to be, well, 6, actually. Equals, sure, success. And then the other one, you did not bring the mayor. What he asked for. Oh, I must cleanse my palate. Use wine. Apparently a bucket is the right amount to cleanse a palate. Excellent. It's good to know. I'm not really a wine person, but it's good to know that there are rules and standards for this kind of thing. Okay, so you did not bring the mayor what he asked for, and that again is a number. We can indeed say that's the beginning. Can you do an end of line marker? That'd be good. Lua pattern matching. End of line. So I would assume it is a $sign. Yep, anchors to the end. Great. Because that is how it works in other systems. But we're probably getting a new line with that string because we haven't parsed anything out. So this is what we're probably seeing there. Now, I don't actually care about matching a pattern, which suggests to me that this parentheses is going to be a problem. Now, one of the things I really like doing is checking patterns against a pattern matcher. So, for instance, Lua Patterns Reviewer, which is a very handy tool. I'll go ahead and link it here actually into chat. This is a very handy tool. And we can see it. We have a start anchor. At the beginning, you have relieved the mayor. Uh-oh, it's a capture group. Now, Lua tends to do escapes with the percent. So we're going to match the parentheses literally, and then a digit, and then /6 is literal, then parentheses is literal, and then new line characters is literal, and then the end. So that was correct. We needed to escape those parentheses. Neat. And we'll do the same thing down here. Thanks, Moonbot. LOTRO freebie for the week. Free universal ingredient packs. Well, universal ingredient packs. I've only got 16,000 of those, so a few free more sounds good. If you aren't familiar with the LOTRO codes, you can go into the LOTRO store, and sometimes it's misbehaving, but over here, redeem code, and you just type in that code, ingredients. Go ahead and hit apply, and you'll get whatever it was. In this case, 1. I got 1. Okay. Use butter. I've only got 8 seconds left. Go get it. All right. Shove the butter in his onto his head. There you go. I've relieved the mayor 5/6. Okay. So we are seeing successful, but what we're not seeing is that timer disappearing when we did the thing. And that's what I would like to do, is I wonder if we can kill that timer early. So if we come into the alert class, is there something we can do about that? So alert constructor, yeah. We have a local function animate alert. Now, in C# or other more modern languages, other languages that I'm more used to using, I would expect or hope for a cancellation token, something you can say, nope, never mind, don't do the thing. And of course, this is a homegrown alerter, so a cancellation token may just not have been in the cards. And that's fine. But we have an update. Sets wants updates to true. If game time is greater than end game time, or current game time is greater than end game time, then set wants update, message label, that. So really we want a way to trip into this. Animate alert gets called. So that's the thing to do, is cancellation token. Now what does a cancellation token normally look like? Now C# cancellation token. Sure. What does that look like? We have a cancellation token. We have token dot cancel. Where are we? Show me the cancel. Source.cancel. All right, cool. So we're looking for a dot cancel, right? We're looking for the ability to pass in. Now we have this constructor. So sender, no. We know about the message, yeah. Duration, yeah. Show remaining time, yes. Callback, we need a nil, and then a cancellation token. Now, it's not really a cancellation token. We just want something that we can say, hey, stop doing the thing. I don't know what that looks like yet, but local cancellation token equals, it's a table, right? Right now it's a table. And we're going to go ahead and pass that on. I did it again. I just passed a nil instead of a named variable. And also this alerter call is getting a little long. I'm going to go ahead and split up those variables into new lines. Makes it a little bit more obvious how many parameters we have and what they are. Okay, so cancellation token. What are we looking for? What we're really looking for is we want while the FATMA request is active, we want to pay attention to those success and failure messages. And if they are true, we want to go ahead and call the equivalent of cancellation token dot cancel. So in alert, if we get a cancellation token, we're going to go ahead and have local is canceled equals false. We also want to go ahead and pull in that cancellation token. Do we want it there? No, it doesn't need to be there. If cancellation token is not equal to nil, then cancellation token dot canceled equals function is canceled equals true end. Super simple. If you passed me in something, I'm going to go ahead and apply a canceled function to it. And in that function, we're just going to set is canceled equals to true. And we're going to go ahead and say if current game time is greater than or equal to game time or is canceled. Then turn yourself off. Now the other problem is this is not going to behave well if we have multiple alerts. As Jordan says, hello. Hello! Welcome to Plugging Along. We are trying to make a cancellation token for this on-screen timer that shows up when the mayor starts eating. So this alert token needs to be more global than that. And so if we go ahead and declare an alert cancellation token equals this table, this is a poorly thought out scheme, I think, but it'll get us where we need to go. So in the filter say, okay, we are in filter say. So if the select request is that, then there's a couple things we want to do. We want to go ahead and else if string.match, and this is going to be cmessage against lang dot whatever that was. This was other dot other. This is Farmers Faire success fail. Yeah, I was right. This needs to be backwards. So this needs to be success equals this, and failure equals that. That'll be better. So, line to others, Farmers Faire, and that's going to be, oh no, we still don't have them routed into English and whatnot. Okay, English equals okay, so we do need to do that settings.language and then success. Then we do alert, cancellation token, dot cancel. Is that what we called it? Probably. Canceled. Now we could combine these into one string.match of that or the other one. I think it's fine to break it out. In this case, it might be possible for us to care which it is, success or failure, in some other way. So we're going to go ahead and do success. We're going to do a failure. And we're getting some syntax errors because I forgot my then. Yes, that will matter. Oh, And I just missed the Dear Me It Burns, I think. Okay. So ideally, what we're going to see is that by satisfying one of these conditions, for instance, I want to bring them the wrong thing, either way, we want that timer to turn off. And this is probably going to be one of the final things we do tonight, unless I get sucked into something else. So if you do have any thoughts, questions, comments on what's going on here, or plugins in general, or LOTRO even more in general, now is a good time to start typing them up. All right, Mayor, you gonna say something? There we go. All right. Too much pepper. Use milk. You know what's just like milk? Oh, that is a bucket of milk. Hang on. Butter. Butter is just like that. Okay, so we can see that did not work. Now, we're very close to either passing or failing this. So let's back up a little bit and let's talk about some debug options. We really want some debug options to get this timer on the screen and then pretend like it's getting off the screen. So let's go ahead and pull up the options window. Now the options window has this show debug options. That's a good place to find stuff. All right, looks like everything in the options window is a debug option. That's nice. Let's go ahead and draw Farmers Faire Fat Mayor debug. There we go. Now my real question is, I see, yes. We have some local that mayor y equals something. Let's go ahead and whoever made this was worth of great admiration. Use nothing. Cool. Let's go ahead and assume that we're going to start around 300 pixels down. Probably not enough. That's okay. Function draw that mayor debug options. Okay. So it's not going to belong at the top of the function here, file here, but it is useful to have it appear for reference to other things. So what do we want? We probably just want some buttons that have what we have available to us. So we need a label. Okay, so we have some draw fireworks stuff. All right, I'll ignore all that. Okay, so we need a local mayor debug label equals turbine dot UI dot label. Excellent. We do always need to set the parent of these things. In this case, that is the options. And we also need to set its location. Set position. We're going to go ahead and set that maybe 10 from the left and however far down Y we are. So we need a local Y. And that is the Farmers Faire, Fat Mayor Y. Okay. We're going down Y, and then Y equals Y plus 20, whatever. We do need to set that text, though. Set text, and that's going to be Fat Mayor. And we'll even go ahead and call it out. Farmers Faire Fat Mayor. Okay. let's just go ahead and see if that loads at all. Okay, we can see it's not nearly far enough down, and the label's not wide enough. Easy enough to fix. We're going to go ahead and set size to be, 200 wide. In fact, I only care about the width. Let's try 200. And we do want to go ahead and fix that position as well. In this case, let's try more like 350. Nope. 400. Yeah, almost. Let's go to 425. Very cool. We can see those labels for the different sections are, in fact, much further over, maybe even 0 over. So, consistency there? Yes. And now we just need a row of buttons. So, local, what is our list? We have butter, milk, salt, water, wine. All right. So those are the buttons we want to make. All right, butter button. Similar things, we're going to go ahead and set that parent right away. That's going to be options again. Butter button, we're going to go ahead and set the position. And first one, we're just going to start out on the left. So maybe 10 in, and it's also at Y. Butter button, we're going to go ahead and set the text. And that's going to be butter. And right now, we do know that we're going to want to do something when there's a click. So butter button click equals function. We know there's a sender, events, no args, and that function is not going to be defined right now. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Cool, we've got butter. Looks like it's going to need to be a little bit wider. And let's see if 75 is better. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to do the same. This is going to feel a little copy-pasty. Maybe a function to help with this would be better. Oh, maybe. Let's make a helper function. Okay, so instead of draw, it's not really going to be create. So same thing. We want this here. We're going to take in an options, but we also need a Y. So ideally, this is going to look like local butter button equals create Farmers Faire button options Y. Okay, what else is up with this? So we've got the set parent, we've got the set position. The width is probably good. Set text, we do need the text. And I don't know what the callback function is going to be yet, but we'll sort that out. Okay, and then we just have, in fact, I don't even think we need those locals. I know it's wrong here though. As soon as we make the milk one, we're not going to be correct. So this is how many over is it? So x, really I. This is going to be 0. This is going to be 1. Some magic numbers in here. It'll be great. So we want that position to be plus y times something. We know that width is 75, so let's start with 100 and just jump them 100 along. I have a feeling it's going to be too wide, but we'll start with that. All right, so we're at 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to go ahead and do salt, water, and vina. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. Probably not quite right. It is not. Oh, of course, because A, I should be returning butter button, and B, no, that's pretty much it. Why is it disappearing? Is it because it's a local? All right, button, set options. We're setting up according to Y. Y is getting passed in. We're setting the text according to text. Oh, I is not being used. Haha. That is going to seriously mess it up. They existed, but they were way too far down. Okay, we can see here both that most of these buttons are too big. So let's dial it back to 65. And they're too far spaced apart. Let's knock it down to 75. Much better. So, with each of these buttons, I want to generate that message. So, we can go ahead and just make ourselves a little helper function in the options window. So, function handle farmers, draw Farmers Faire, handle Farmers Faire, fatmare, click. And the thing is the item. Okay. And that's what we really want to do, is go ahead and call handle Farmers Faire with the text. And then in here, we can just say if item equals butter, then do a thing. And we'll actually just do the, all the way down. So else if item equals milk, then else if item equals salt, then else if item equals water, and so on. Indeed, a little redhead. If item equals better, watch out for jorts. Every once in a while, some of the cats get on the counter, and I don't know what specifically they're looking for other than it smells like food, so naturally they would want to get up there. But it does make me wonder what would happen if we had a butter dish with butter, easily accessible to Casper, who doesn't always seem like the brightest cat that existed.
He's actually on the screen.
Is he? Is there a cat in my background?
White paws.
Hey, Casper. Okay, so apparently on the couch right behind me, there's a cat. I'm just lounging over there. So that's cool. Good job, Casper. Casper doesn't seem to be quite as certain about this whole new house, new owners thing. Okay, so what are we really looking for? We're looking to trigger this filter say function. And you know what? We can do that. We can just call filter say, and we can send it a thing. For butter, in fact, we can just send lang dot, where are these things? Well, we don't have to reference them, but we can. So, for each one of these, we can just pick one. So, for the milk, whoops. Let's go ahead and then filter, say, oh, of course, those are going to be a little bit harder because they're coming in as one of those specialized entries. We have this over here. We know it's going to look like something like this. So we can reconstruct that. So we have local mayor say equals. We know it's going to be select, blah, blah, blah. That double backslash says. So mayor say begin. Local mayor say end equals. I'm going to take out that text. And then local oh, apparently my phone is on. I thought I said that should be off. Neat. So butter say equals. And in fact, sometimes it's a little bit easier just to pull these out, oops, into the right window, or into a split view. So butter say equals something, local milk say equals something, local salt say equals something. So again, there's a lot of repetition here, which makes me think I should have a table. Local item say equals table. And then you just say, hey, butter equals. But importantly, we can index those by the item itself. So butter equals something. It just needs a dab of something. Great. Same thing, we can say milk equals. Milk. Ah, spicy, save me. That sounds very familiar. All right, salt equals. It's missing a little something. All right, we have the water equals. All right, so thirsty. And finally, we have the wine, which he's really doing a lot of. I must cleanse my palate. Okay, so what that means is we can say local say equals mayor say begin dot dot item say index by item dot dot mayor say end. And then we don't need all of this if-elsing. We can just go to filter say and the say. There we go. Mayor say begin's always going to be the same. Mayor say end's always going to be the same. What we spit in the middle just depends on the button being clicked, and then we filter say that. Okay, let's give it a try. Let's pop that open, and then we can do milk. It didn't work, but that's okay. Now what's fun is we do get to see that text coming on through. But the real question is, why didn't it work? Oh yes, we didn't select the quest. Milk. Spicy, save me, use milk. Salt. It's missing a little something, use salt. Water. So thirsty, use water. Wine. And back to butter. So we can trigger these announcements at will. They don't correspond to the quest. Obviously, it's not going to work if you try to give them the wrong thing. But for debug purposes, it's great. And now we just need a success and failure message. Now, I didn't specify which type of click that is. That's an item click. All right, so now we want to go ahead and create 2 more buttons. All right, success and fail. All right, so these buttons worked great, although I keep having butter button, and that was wrong. So just item button. We're going to go ahead and do some replaces. Let's enter in this one. All right. But by default, yeah, handling it with the item click is good, but we want to be able to override that for these success and failure buttons. So, easy way to do that. And then function handle Farmers Faire result click. Result. So that's going to be pretty easy. For success fail is a function. We're going to go ahead and call handle success. Well, all right, and then we're just going to pass success and failure for right now, and we'll see how that needs to change. Okay. Y equals y plus 30. Great. Let's at least see that visually. So we can do a success, we can do a fail, but they don't do anything at this point because that function is empty. But we do want to go ahead and try to do the things that we were triggering before, and the thing that wasn't working, and now we can go ahead and dig into why it wasn't working. And that was, we're looking for a match here against this string here. Well, that's pretty easy. Actually, you know what? You know what the problem might even be? I don't really care about those being the end. I don't care about that new line. But that being said, let's go ahead and come on in to the options window, and we're going to do a filter. Yeah. If result equals success, then else if result equals failure, then end. Fail. And then we're just going to go ahead and filter, say, with that message. You have relieved the mayor. So that's going to be 1 of 6. And then filter, say, what's the other one? You did not bring the mayor. What do you ask for? Dun dun dun. So we'll just call that 2 of 3. Okay. Unload, reload, back into the options. So, ideally, we're going to go ahead and come on in here. Oh, of course. Got me. Success. Great. We're getting an error message. Always good to see, because that tells us our code's getting executed. Chat logger 133. Sorry, 131. All right, alert cancellation, cancel. Attempt to call field, cancel. Great. Oh, that makes sense. So, milk and cancel. the timer stopped. That's great. So, fail. Oh, maybe the timer stopped before and I just didn't realize it. Awesome. So that suggests... Okay, so we need a function cancel alert, which says if alert cancellation token is not equal to nil and alert cancellation token dot cancel is not equal to nil, then alert cancellation token cancel. There we go. So we do want to make use of that. That way we don't have to worry about nil checks. We can do it all in one place. A reset also makes sense. Okay, so we have salt. It's using missing something. If we succeed, all right. If we go to water, if we fail, so things are working, but the timer is pausing, but the display is still happening. Let's take a look at that. Let's come into cancel is canceled. Oh, okay. So the opacity should be done. Or better yet, control set visible false. Let's see what that would look like. So water, success, and it goes away. Milk, fail, and it goes away. But the real question is, does it come back when the mayor speaks? Could not find item. Why couldn't you find an item? Because the spacing was different? Oh my goodness. Now the real question is the spacing always different? Is Whitfoot always spacing those things out? All right, in the quest, spicy, save me. Interesting. Well, I mean that's where this needs testing, right? But it doesn't stop us from having both of them. In the options window, spicy, save me. Let's go ahead and fix that. Let's go ahead and test according to that one. So, salt, mayor, salt, success, water, fail. All right. So, Good to find out. I wouldn't be surprised if there's other ones, and of course, this problem is kind of tripled because there's the German and French strings as well. But ouch, too much pepper. Use milk. All right, come on over. Bucket of milk. Carry it on over, and it didn't work. So you've relieved the mayor. All right.
Something I can do for you.
Sure, finish now. When can I repeat that? 4 hours. All right, that'll be something to test. But there's something about the text as we're getting. So in the chat logger, this here, this string.match that I'm doing, I don't think that's correct. For one thing, I'm not actually doing a match. I'm supposed to be doing a find. That would be better. We're not doing well, yeah, we're not doing a match. There were no matches, so string.find is probably what we wanted to do. But if we wanted to do something on screen, like you did the right thing, good job, we could, but the quest is already going to do that. So I don't think we need to do that. Once we've confirmed that these are working, tomorrow or on a different character, in fact, I could just go ahead and do that. All right, let's log out. Who is looking to go to the festival? You know, Wenda doesn't go out very much. Interesting. Seems to take a lot longer to log out while I'm streaming. Agreed, little redhead. Yeah, the game's already going to say, you got 1 of 3 or whatever. I don't need to do that. All right, let's get in here with Wenda. Yeah, it definitely feels like it takes a little bit longer to log in and log out while streaming and recording and all that. Not too surprising. Alright, so Wenda's up here in the crafting area of this neighborhood, but... Oh no! I was so certain I wasn't going to take her that I think I didn't keep the maps. That's okay. I mean, I'm just outside. So, hardly seems to be a problem.
You could foreign stable master to party trick.
Okay, so if you are in the Shire neighborhood, you come out just south of Waymeet. We're just going over to Bywater there, so this will just take a minute. That being said, let's come on in to System, Plugin Manager, and let's get that Festival Buddy up and running. So we are specifically doing the Farmers Faire and the Fat Mayor quest. So right away, we can see we've got that text in there. Could probably be refined a little bit, but certainly a pretty good reference. Little Redhead points out the far-ranging stable master in the neighborhoods can also take you to the party tree, and I think in the Farmers Faire Festival there's a shortcut from party tree, or do you still have to ride down? Okay, sounds like you still just ride down, but it is a little bit closer. Party tree to Hobbiton to Bywater, instead of cross-country here through Tuckborough. Okay. Oh, we're going to crest the hill here and start our descent. Okay, so here we are in Bywater. Let's talk to.
Take a moment of your time.
Let's follow Little Redhead's example and talk to Campanella Chubb first. Pick up some of these wrappers just in case.
Take a moment of your time.
Alright. I am not going to spend nearly as much time reading those quests as she did. You can watch that video for more details. But let's come on in here and accept this quest. Excellent. Alright, we can see something Tart will do nicely. Use wine. And it's been going for a little while, actually. So thank you, announcement. I relieved the mayor. Now, the timer was already almost was expired and off the screen, so that wasn't a very good test. So I'm going to stand over here in preparation. Okay. Farmer is sampling. Mayor. Do nothing. Oh, Mayor. Hey, you know what? It's fine. I'm going to throw some salt on him anyway. Alright, you did not bring the mayor what he was looking for. So, that still didn't work. Let's go ahead and create a new chat tab here so we can start tracking these things. We're going to go ahead and rename this to plugins. And we're going to go ahead and change the filter to just be standard and error. Excellent. So let's come on in and figure out what's going on here. Right now, we are dumping stuff out a lot. Let's go ahead and get that to only be if we're doing the Fat Mayor quest. Then we'll go ahead and dump out this debug stuff. If we're doing that, the other thing I would care about are these success and failures. So let's go ahead and say if string dot find of see message and the just you have relieved the mayor, then let's get some of this out. We're going to do something very similar here. See message debug text. Okay, and we want to do the same thing for the other one. Draxit says, hello, hello in chat. We are trying to figure out what I did wrong. Trying to figure out if we succeeded or failed here. So, let's go ahead and go back into the plugin manager and unload. Draxit says, what am I programming? Draxit NL, if you're from the Netherlands, then you're in the right place. So this is Lord of the Rings Online, and we're modifying the Festival Buddy plugin. This is using the Lua programming language, and I do need to go ahead and type /festival to get the UI, and then go ahead and switch on the specific quest we're trying to monitor. Unfortunately, he just sampled something, so it's going to be a minute. So yes, right now we're not properly detecting you've relieved the mayor, you did not bring the mayor what he asked for. So we're going to go ahead and, because say could be filled with volatile things that anyone is saying, I'm seeking to not put anything on stream. So this is how we can manage that. We're just finding specific strings that we're interested in, and if so, we're going to go ahead and send out the original message and then the just the text of the message, and also substituting out any angle brackets so we can see any underlying modifications. All right, the bread is too dry. Use butter. All right, I have the salt. He did not bring him what he asked for. Oh, It's not a say, of course. Ah, no wonder. It's a quest. If we create a new tab and rename that to be quest, then change the filters, of course, so it is just quest. Then, the next time the mayor asks for something, we're going to give it the correct one to him, because I don't want to do a 5-minute reset time here. Then, alright, does he want salt? Come on, salt. Alright, use butter. Alright, you have relieved the mayor. It's going to the quest channel, of course. Of course it is. So, even better. Let's come on into the chat logger. Buzzy says, big Lord of the Rings fan yourself. Awesome. Yes, this is a good place for it. Lord of the Rings Online is possibly the only MMO that deals with the Lord of the Rings storyline, and certainly the biggest one I know of. So if you are a fan of Lord of the Rings and you like MMOs, definitely give it a try. Brexit says, you're Dutch living in the Netherlands. I am living outside of Arnhem, though I am not Dutch. I am just fortunate enough to be able to live here. Okay, so we are in the wrong place. We are in filter say. We need to be in filter quest. That's our problem. There may be others. That is one of our problems. So let's go ahead and also filter on what our active quest is. So we need if selected festival equals, and then we have Farmers Faire, then we also have if selected quest equals something, then end. And then we can do the stuff. So we're going to go ahead and have this debug in there. Yes. But I am thinking, you know what? That's going to be a bit of a pain to boot up. I am thinking we just need this stuff. Okay, so if string.find for that message and this success, fail, success, and failure, then we can cancel the alert. All right, let's go ahead and unload. Let's go ahead and reload. We're ready to go. If we make this bigger, we can see we still can, with the quest selected, make one of these appear on. We can still get rid of it. Nope, we can't. Oh, of course, because we need to be going to filter quest. All right, so in the options window, this is going to be filter quest, unload, reload, milk, success, water, failure, great. We're ready to go. Okay. Filter quest, good. In the chat logger, our filter deed, filter say has almost certainly gotten very muddled, but that's why we have source control. We can easily separate out what we want and what we don't want. Oh, thanks, Little Redhead. Yes, Lord of the Rings Online does do a really great job with the lore. I find it enjoyable. All right, so the mayor is eating, so the table has been populated. Bland, bland, bland. Use salt. Okay. So, still have 11, 10, 9, and it's gone. Awesome. We're now able to cancel that on-screen timer when it is reasonable to do so. Love it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that window so I can move this over here. So we have the Festival Buddy window with the helping text of just a reminder. We can also pay attention to Will Whitfoot saying things in chat. And the quest notifications for success and failure for this quest. All right, there he goes. use salt. Great. So a plugin like this obviously isn't necessary or mandatory for doing the festival deeds, but I'd like to think that some people, for some people, it's going to be very handy. Either you're just not a foodie, so you don't really know what the purpose of salt or wine is, or you're running a bunch of characters through and you can't be bothered to think your way through the kind of puzzle each time. And oh, he's about to go again. All right, use salt. All right, relieved the mayor. And so, same thing with the grocery list over there. Like, you run through, and after a couple times, you kind of know it. But, for those people who would have to otherwise have a wiki side by side, or if you're only working on one monitor, then tab back and forth between the game and the wiki, or whatever, a plugin feature like this can just make it a lot easier, where you just switch over to the staff in the market, whatever the name of that quest is, and it'll just tell you for each of those patrons what it is you need to go do. I think that would be much easier. And so that'll probably be a next time deal. We're going to finish this quest right here. He's eating the last one. All right, use nothing. We're not going to finish the quest right here. Oh well. But soon. So that'll be a next thing, is probably just do a textual reference for Daisy over there, just for each of the 6 or so helper quests. Go ahead and list out the things that you need, and then we'll try it out and see how that works. And then see if we can think of any other of these quests that could really benefit from that kind of a textual assistance. Maybe it's just these two. Maybe the rest of them are more straightforward. I'm not sure. If you have thoughts on that matter, I would love to hear them. All right, Mayor, go ahead and eat, and then we'll probably go ahead and wrap this up by looking at our source control. All right, use salt. A lot of salt. All right, there we go. You've relieved the mayor. Finish. There we go. Now, nice thing, Festival Buddy recognizes that I finished that quest, so it has deselected it in the window. And so all that text chat parsing that was going on in the Say channel, it's going to stop right now. So it's not going to start up again until I select that quest. It's quite possible that it's good enough to auto-select it for me if I was to go ahead and get the quest. I'd have to check on that, but it wouldn't surprise me. It's pretty clever. So that's Agartha says, for Bounders rounds, I'm putting up a graphic with some text indicating a wrong word or phrase. Good point. The drunkenness of the hobbits might be very useful to call out textually. The things that you're looking for, like vegetables instead of vegetables, or toes in your hair instead of hairs on your toes. Those kinds of things. I'd forgotten about that one. That's an excellent one to have a textual reference for. Again, the kind of thing where eventually you're going to see it. But yeah, if it shows up in your chat, wouldn't it be nice to say, hey, go find this one? Unfortunately, those hobbits don't come with a selector ID, so you can't just click on them to find them. But that would be very handy if it did. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Agartha, for that comment. Well, I think that's going to be all we're doing here. Agartha says, right, they speak anonymously. Right. Well, now that you've reminded me or opened my eyes to the selector tag there, I think that's going to be one of those things where it's like, why doesn't this other one have a selector tag? That's okay. I wonder if you could get the ID of an NPC from, I don't know, from the target in some way that you could construct your own selector ID. That'd be a fascinating idea if you could build up your own inventory of party goers in a plugin. I don't know. I think you probably can't get that selector ID hex code, but if you could, and you could build up your own selector IDs, then you could just sort of click through them. It wouldn't help you identify which one had spoken, and it probably would never be useful to anyone, but it's an idea that's in my head now. Okay, neat. Well, that looks good. Let's go ahead and come back into our source control and maybe figure out if there was stuff that was added that didn't need to be. Like these two new lines here. We're going to discard those. All right, so added cancellation option to alert. And what was that? That was a cancellation token, an optional one. And if it's not nil, then we go ahead and assign a cancel function to it. And if you call that, we just set is canceled to true. And in is canceled is consulted while we're doing that loop. Also, when we are expired, we'll just go ahead and hide that control explicitly because previously it had just faded out from opacity changes and was effectively not visible. So we're going to go ahead and take all of that. In our chat logger, we have added a cancellation token helpers. And that's just this up here. We're going to go ahead and probably helpers to chat logger. We're going to go ahead and do that as its own commit. Let's see, options window added fat mayor quest to options window. Okay, so stage that, create all of that, stage that, and stage that. Great. All right, quest strings, again, mangled the French one somehow, discard that, don't need it. Agatha says, if you had the ID, you can put up an interact link. Yeah, I don't think it'd be useful in this case, but it makes me wonder if it would ever be useful. Okay, added Farmers Faire fat mayor strings. So that is the food options. That is these announcements, the items, and the success fail. And whatever, a comment. In fact, added Farmers Faire fat mayor capabilities. So in the quest, we're going to go ahead and modify that quest. We're going to discard this random new line that crept in. For debug stuff, actually, let's come on in to chat logger. Search for that debug. Debug delete later. Yes. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of that at least. And what I really want is these lines and these lines. The debug stuff, I don't mind it being there. I'm just going to go ahead and comment it out right now. But it'll be handy to have later if something goes wrong. Then we're going to go ahead and discard that blank line there and stage these functions. Handle the request. All right. So we still have the debug options true. We have some debug output that's commented out right now. And we're going to go ahead and commit that. And finally, just to double check, plugin manager, unload, reload. Accidentally closed it, /festival to reopen it. And we're back with the fat mayor. So, dipping it burns, use milk. Awesome. And if I fail or succeed, it goes away. Butter, success, great. Everything still looks like it's working after I tweaked that code. So there we go. We have added support for the Fat Mayor quest so far. I don't know that this is a big enough improvement to justify putting out a release right now. But next week, as I said, I hope to go ahead and add some textual assists for the market and for these drunk hobbit statements. And we'll see what else comes in. And maybe after that, we'll go ahead and release that and get back to MinstrelBuff or do something else. Whoops, I'm just going to step out of there. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and sign off here. Alright. Cool. Well, thanks for those thoughts and comments, Agartha. That's all we are going to go ahead and cover today. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of LOTRO plugins. I hope to see you here next week. And until then, keep plugging along. All right. Bye-bye now.